Welcome back to another episode of Casa De Confidence. Everyone, I'm so glad that you're joining us today because in this episode, we have the privilege of speaking with an immensely talented person, James Corwin, a wildlife artist whose work is taking the art world by storm. James is a stunning painter of oil paintings. And I have to say, I was looking through his stuff and it was pretty cool. And James, overall, he merges fine detail with an abstract landscape to create emotive and evocative pieces of that transport you into the wildlife which he paints about. He is a conversation. I am struggling today, people. He is a conservationalist, and through his art, he is hoping that we can continue to support those wonderful areas of the country and the world where we see some beautiful wildlife. So, welcome to the show, James.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here.
Yeah, it's so great that you are here. And, I didn't stumble through your name, so I had to stumble through another word. It's
That's
typically
me
the
all the
name that
time.
throws me.
No worries. You did great.
Yeah, well, thank you. I want to get into the heart of your journey and your inspirations and how, again, this is shaping the future of wildlife. But most importantly, let's talk a little bit about you and your journey as an artist. I
Mhm.
can barely make stick figures. So anytime that someone has talent and definitely draws you in is someone that I admire. And you have transitioned from various creative endeavors to wildlife painting. Can you tell us a little bit more about the shift and what is it
Mhm.
about the painting that made you stick with it?
Yeah, I grew up in this little log cabin in the mountains. It was about 30 minutes from town and down this dirt road. And there was electricity, of course, but we didn't have internet or TV.
Wow.
And we were on 5 acres, but it
Mhm.
butted up against a bunch of extra land. So playground was the outdoors, and
Mm,
that's where I spent so much of my time growing up, and keeping myself
mhm.
interested and active by creating maybe like little fairy houses and stumps, or
Oh,
just
that's so cool.
yeah, or taking like pictures of the birds, or I would capture little uh, chipmunks that were in our wood pile, and I'd make 'em my pet for a day. So I was
Very
always
cool.
interacting with the wildlife and finding ways to be creative. But
Mhm.
I didn't know I could paint until I was in high school. A lot of people think, "Oh, you probably have been doing art since you were a little kid." And actually, no, I was more music inclined. I was
Okay.
playing the piano, writing music, and wanted to be a composer,
Amazing.
and also wanted to be an actor and all these other things. I was a creative person, but I wasn't drawing.
Mhm.
And I took this class in high school, art class, and began drawing, and just really enjoyed it, and found that I had a talent for it,
Mhm.
and received this art scholarship at the encouragement of my teacher to apply
Mm.
to, which took me to study it in college. And during those 4 years in college, I was painting on location, doing plein air painting, connecting with other
Wow.
artists, taking some workshops, a lot of self teaching.
Mhm.
And my focus was on landscape painting. And during the summers, I would create hundreds of these little tiny paintings on little canvases and on little easels. And every single one was different, but they're like really detailed
Ooh.
paintings. And I would set up this table at the farmers markets on Saturday, and I
Oh,
would
how cool.
sell all these little paintings for yeah, for $20 a pop. And that was my summer job for a few years. So that
Very
taught
cool.
me how to sell art and start
Mhm.
creating a living off of my art. But also, I believe that's what really started to hone in the detail of my
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are drawn to the detail, but I think that's from literally years and hours of painting so many tiny paintings
Mhm.
over and over again. And so I was still painting landscapes after I graduated college,
Mhm.
but they weren't very good. At least I didn't think they're very good. And, every landscape was different than the one before it.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I took a trip to South Africa and went on safari that
Mhm.
it really rekindled my love of
Mm.
wildlife
Wow.
because the wildlife over there is so different than what we have here in
Yeah.
Montana. It's larger than life and just so inspiring, so extraordinary. So I took that inspiration home with me. And the first painting I did was a rhino painting.
Mhm.
And then back then, again, I felt like I didn't have any style or voice as an artist. And I was really focused on trying to create paintings that would
Mhm.
sell. But at this
Okay.
point, I was like, well, nobody's going to buy a rhino painting. I'm just going to paint it anyway.
Yeah.
But it ended up being the best painting that I felt I had ever painted. And it sold in less than 24 hours for more than I had sold a painting for.
Really?
Yeah.
Now where
And
did you
so
put it up for sale?
on Facebook,
On
that's where I
Facebook?
was selling all my stuff.
Oh,
And
I
it's,
missed out then.
I know, I know Facebook has been and
Yeah.
still is today such a great
Mm,
um, resource for being able
amazing.
to
Yeah.
to yeah connect with buyers. But anyway, um, so that's what really triggered the shift into painting wildlife, and I still struggle to paint a good landscape.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I again, stick figures are probably the best I get, and maybe that sunshine and the mountains because they're just wiggling on my page. But
Yeah.
I did notice, and by the way, I think that in another life, I
Mhm.
think I would have liked to have worked in a museum or in an art
Mhm.
gallery. I love
Yeah.
art, and I could get lost every time I go to well. We have a beautiful Athenaeum here in Connecticut, and it's
Ooh,
so
cool.
gorgeous, and I don't go enough, but
Yeah.
certainly one of the things that I notice is definitely that you, um, have that precision in your art, and
Mhm.
it feels very spontaneous.
Mhm.
You developed it over time, or did you discover that, it was something that came naturally to you?
Well, I believe it stems from that creative atmosphere that
Mhm.
I put myself in as
Yeah.
a young kid of wanting to do music, wanting to act, wanting to make movies, be a director, and what it all boils down to is the need to tell a story that conveys an emotion.
Mm.
So
Amazing.
when I'm crafting my artwork, it's like a movie, but I have a snapshot of that story that I need to bring all these feelings into that moment
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
my job as an artist is to create something that makes you feel something.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
otherwise, I don't want to just create a painting that
Yeah.
is static. It just
Yeah.
to produce a product, to produce
Mhm.
something. And that definitely limits the amount of work I can put out in a
Mhm.
year,
Yeah.
but each piece is thoughtful, and it takes me a while to
Mhm.
come up with that idea, but I'll ponder on if I'm painting a moose, for example, what is this moose doing? What's
Mhm.
something that people have not seen before in a painting?
Yeah.
How is it interacting with the environment, and then what elements in that environment can I help propel this feeling,
Mm.
whatever that feeling is? Is it
Yeah.
going to be misty and moody? Is it going to be spring and more happy? And are there like little butterflies that the moose is interacting with and to kind
Right.
of uh, create this more happy feeling? Or are
Mhm.
we looking for something more subdued? So it is very much storytelling, which is what I love
Yeah.
about what I do.
Yeah. Storytelling is so crucial in any type of art. And I think that whether you're a
Mhm.
musician or
Oh
you're a
yeah.
painter or, and again, art is so subjective, but it's all around us. And I joke, right? I'm not an artist, but I
Mhm.
do believe that in whatever medium we're using, like this podcast, this is my way of putting some art in there. I was
Yes.
looking at the Unduly Curious print and
Mhm.
so cool. I mean, there's no other way, and especially if someone is listening. But I just kind of thought I imagined sitting maybe in a campground and it's misty, and then all of a sudden the magic, if you've been camping, you know that there are little misty magical moments where all of a sudden
Yes.
you see wildlife come
Mhm.
close and you can't help but to admire, right, the majesty of wildlife and the things around you, and we don't take enough time to appreciate it, but this is a great way for individuals that are bringing the outdoors in, and you're
Yes.
reminding them of what is possible, what could be out there. What's
Mhm.
been your favorite, painting or I mean, that's like choosing from your children, right?
It's
Or
so
is
true.
there one in particular that maybe really, pulled your heart as you were creating it?
Mm. Without sounding like a broken record on the rhino,
Yeah,
that certainly was one because that rhino was
yeah,
poached, a
yeah.
couple weeks after
Oh,
I left.
yeah,
I know. It's
yeah,
like so in a way that, it
mhm,
immortalized the painting
yeah,
immortalized
yeah,
that rhino and its memory, and the
mm.
title of the painting's "In Memory."
Wow.
No, or sorry, there was a second one I did of that same rhino called "In Memory"
In
after the
memory.
incident, but
Okay.
the first one is Roger the rhino. That was his
Ooh, that's a great
name.
name.
Yes.
But yeah, in memory, that's definitely evoking emotion, and I would imagine that that's
Absolutely.
what you're looking for when you're
Exactly.
creating art and you're bringing it onto the world. Now,
Mhm.
again, I believe, individuals that are looking at your art are having an emotional response. What are some of the things that you hope the viewer takes away from your work?
Mm.
Because when you see someone standing in front of your piece, obviously, I would believe, at least for me, there's a level of nervousness. I hope they like it, but I also
Yes,
hope, like
right.
when I put out this podcast, I also feel like I hope they like it, but I like it, and
Mhm,
this is what I
mhm.
want people to walk away with it. I wonder if that's the same for you.
Yes. I have moved many people to tears
Mm.
with my artwork, and for me personally, that is the greatest compliment,
Mhm.
and that I know I'm being choosy on the emotional response because somebody who feels, happiness
Mhm.
that is such an important emotion and just as valid as somebody who's moved to tears,
Mhm.
but I can only relate because if I'm watching a movie or listening to music that personally moves me to tears, I feel like that was the greatest shift in my emotions and the greatest emotional response that could be pulled from
Mhm.
me, right?
Yeah.
And so when I see somebody else who stands in front of my painting and just breaks down in tears,
Mm.
to me, I feel like I've done the greatest
Yeah.
emotional shift
Yeah. Yeah.
to that person.
Very cool. Now you mentioned that you were in South Africa and you've traveled extensively. How do your journeys really influence? And, because I know that for me, traveling, experiencing other cultures and places
Mhm,
definitely influences, my frame of mind and
mm.
who I am as a person. But have there been specific experiences or places that have left a lasting impression that then in turn influenced your art?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I've been back to Africa 5 times now,
Okay.
and a lot of the places I choose can be centered around a specific animal that I
Mm.
wanna see.
Okay.
For example, it took me 5 times to go to Africa to see a leopard, and
Oh,
and
okay.
I still really wanna capture some images of full-maned lions. I
Mhm.
still have not painted a male lion
Oh,
because I
love
like to
that.
paint things that I've actually seen,
Yeah, yeah.
and there are places that I go to that are also to ground and center me and allow me space to think about my business and hopefully come to a more creative space again to recharge.
Mhm. To
And
recharge it.
places like Costa Rica have been really great for that
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recently, I went to the Philippines and got scuba certified so that I could start
Fun.
exploring the world underwater. And
Ooh,
that's been such an incredible experience because
I
that
bet.
truly opens up an
Mhm.
entire new world of
Yeah.
animals
Yep.
and things I never
A
even knew
different
existed.
universe. A
Oh
different
my
universe.
gosh, yes.
I don't scuba dive, but I've been snorkeling in
Oh, I
mainly in
love
the
it.
Bahamas and Key West, and
Mhm.
I every time I go, I think I should get scuba certified. My sister
That
is,
was
and
me too.
yeah, my sister is, and then, her husband, and then my other sister's husband is, and,
Mhm.
but I just think there's so much beauty underneath,
Oh,
and
yeah.
last time I went, it was interesting because there were these beautiful, and I call them beautiful, jellyfish, but they were
Wow.
purplish, and then the sunlight, just the way that they were hitting them and kinda made them rainbow. Of course, I did get stung a couple different times, which was kind of annoying, but it was just so beautiful and worth it, so I
Absolutely.
love that. Now my sister's who's married to the scuba diver, she doesn't scuba dive, but she is an artist and she's a painter,
Oh.
and I will tell you that I love her work, and not just because she's my sister. She
Mhm.
started painting, I would say, maybe 7 years ago, and she's incredibly talented, but she is not willing to let other people see her work. Although her art teachers have made her, exhibit a couple of times, so much so that she's gotten offers for a lot of money for her paintings, and she has
That's
said
awesome.
no. And I
Interesting.
think, for you, you are combining your art with conservation efforts, and I think that
Mhm,
bringing, for instance, the wildlife or the ocean life, it's a really great way to remind individuals, right? The
mhm,
beauty that it's around us and how we need to um, conserve, protect it.
mhm,
And I'd love to hear, how you incorporate your awareness of the importance of conservation in
mhm.
getting that message across to people.
Yeah, it's so important. Like you said earlier, artwork allows us to bring the wildlife in
Mhm.
and remind us of the beauty that surrounds us
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
importance of protecting that in
Mhm.
our species. And I think it with all the digital noise that we're surrounded with every day, it
Mhm.
can be easy to forget about
Yeah.
the beauty that surrounds us.
Mhm.
And as an artist, I feel very fortunate to be able to not only paint it, but also use my art as
Mhm.
a means of fundraising
Mhm.
for organizations.
Yeah.
For example, I am donating this large painting to this. It's called fundraiser organization. It's called the Yellowstone Forever, and it's Yellowstone National Parks
Mhm.
organization for
Wow.
protecting the
Mhm.
space they have there.
Mhm.
And so to be able to be asked to donate artwork and to be able to do so, I think is a gift because
Yeah.
these people gather, bid on the art, they buy it, and normally it usually raises a lot of money for
Yeah.
these organizations,
Mhm.
and that's, you know, a way that I'm able to give. So I get a lot of requests throughout the year, and it's,
Yeah. That's
just a
pretty
great
cool.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, would you consider yourself an activist when it comes to protecting wildlife and making sure that we have this beautiful nature that is everlasting for our humans around us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think being able to when I travel, I love to travel to those eco-friendly
Okay.
places and
Yeah.
eco resorts and lodges because I wanna be immersed in the environment as
Mhm.
much as possible. My
Yeah.
my travel plans are very adventure oriented.
Yeah,
And
I get it. I could travel with you. One of the most
absolutely.
interesting places I went to, was in Costa Rica, as a matter of
Oh,
fact. I stayed
yes.
at the National Geographic, and they have a not it's not a resort, it's a hotel, but it's
Mhm.
at the foot of the Arenal volcano, and the
Wow.
scientists actually are in residence, so that's where they're doing a lot of their studies, and you can, as you're walking around, kinda talk to them, and that was very fun. I had a lot of fun in that
That
trip,
sounds
but
amazing.
I didn't stay there long enough. We only stayed there a couple nights because my ex-husband and I, when we traveled a lot, we like to see a lot in the very little
Yes.
time, so we
Oh,
went
yes.
fast, which always tells me I need to go back for more time to these places.
Me too.
Yeah, there's not enough time in the
Definitely.
days or the years to
I
go.
know. I
Now
know.
where's your next trip?
I don't have anything planned at the
Okay.
moment, and as I'm listening, I'm thinking, "Gosh, I used to travel so much more,
Yeah.
and I need to again." I get so busy,
Yeah.
painting and working in the day-to-day of the business, but
Yeah.
I have to, again, remind myself that the the traveling is very much a big part of what I do and
Right.
and my source of inspiration.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
you have referred to what you do not only as an artist, but you refer to it as a business. And I know
Mhm.
that many listeners, perhaps, when they were growing up, they had a dream of being artists and were probably told, like I was at one point, yeah, you need to go into something that's stable, that makes money.
Mhm.
But I know many artists that are sustainably, and have a wonderful life.
Oh, yeah.
And how have you created, I guess, a sustainable business too, and created something that allows you to use your gifts, but also, you charge for the beauty that you create.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a mindset. I think
Mhm.
artists who want to create a career doing their art full time need to approach it as a business like any
Mhm.
other business
Yeah.
and apply the principles and the right tools and the strategies to
Mhm.
grow their business. And we as artists can be emotional because we are creating a product of
Mhm.
ourselves and
Yeah.
putting ourselves out there. And I know, like your sister, for example, who doesn't want to
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
their art to anyone, I can understand that aspect of art. But
Mhm.
if you want to monetize it, it it's just like really any other business.
Mhm.
You're creating a product and then
That's
you
right.
need to create the marketing and the story and the brand behind it and then get enough eyes on it and the right
Mhm.
people to see it to
Right.
buy it. And it can be incredibly fulfilling and any artist can truly have a very successful
Mhm.
career if that's something they choose to do. It just takes they
Right.
I think we also can underestimate the amount of effort and time it will
Mhm.
take, just like
Right.
anything, but
Yeah.
it's certainly possible, and I really encourage a lot of artists, especially even the ones that I represent in my galleries, to really learn and
Yeah,
practice the business of it.
so good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Now,
But
do you teach them that? Or do you teach them some of the components of
I do.
making art their business? Because that's a wonderful opportunity also to expand your business.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
And I uh, a few years ago created a whole art business course
so
online, and
good.
I want to get back into it and update it because I've personally learned a lot
Mhm.
through the last few years. And um yeah, it is truly that can be valuable.
Yeah.
And I just moreover love being able to help
Mhm.
people,
Yeah.
obviously, and again,
Well, and I
encourage
love that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you worked with many collectors and formed friendships throughout the
Mhm.
art world. Um, what is a personal connection that meant a lot in your career, and how does it influence your approach to creating and sharing your pieces with others?
Mm, that's a great question. I feel like these people come in and out of my life at different times. There's
Mhm.
different
Yeah.
people for different moments. And
Mhm.
and I also seek
Mhm.
mentors or people at
Nice.
different times of my life for
Mhm.
questions that I
Right.
have.
Right. Yeah.
And but I think what's so wonderful about being an artist is those relationships that
Mhm.
you develop, because the art being that emotional extension of myself, that product,
Mhm.
I'm sharing that with somebody who has fallen in love with that art piece, that experience.
Mhm.
And to be able to create a relationship with them around the artwork is a beautiful thing. And I
Yeah.
really try to develop strong relationships with my collectors, but
Mhm.
also people who are interested in my artwork,
Yeah.
my fans and followers, if you want to call them
Yeah.
that. And I do my best to call them, at least several
Mhm.
people a day as I'm painting, to just have a conversation
Oh,
and
I love
let
that.
them know I'm still here and
Yeah. Yeah.
creating, and a real person and not
So
just
good.
a
Mm.
face on a screen.
Absolutely. I think that, and again, in a business relationship, we look to nurture relationships and we're bringing value to somebody else. So it's important for them to also remember and be connected and feel that connection because as humans, that's what we crave. So, yeah, so
Exactly.
good. Oh, you're going to have to call me when you're painting.
Yes, I would love to.
That's so fun. That's so fun. Now, your career flourished from a young age, and again,
Mm,
it's been something that when you're looking back, what has been the biggest challenge you faced in building a successful career, and how did you overcome it?
mm. There's 2 things. There is the ability to focus.
Hmm.
There are so many distractions
Yeah,
as
yeah.
an entrepreneur that are thrown at you that seem like
Oh,
great
for sure.
ideas, and I've done a lot of them, and I've
Yeah.
taken those distractions and learned a lot through them,
Mhm.
which has been great too. Some of
Yeah.
them are very expensive, painful learning lessons,
Mm. Oh, yeah,
and
for sure.
so being able to focus and
Mhm.
stay in my lane, even in the style of art I do, and not
Okay.
trying to be distracted. Oh, I love what that artist is doing, but
Mhm.
I love what they're doing too, and
Yeah.
I want to do that. And it's just like, oh wait, hold
Yeah.
on. I have to quiet the noise.
That's
And then
right.
also, I think personally too, every day I need to remind myself of where I'm at, how I got there, what I've
Mhm.
been through,
Yeah.
to find the happiness and the joy
Mhm.
in my day, because with those distractions, I don't know, I imagine other business owners or creative people can feel this way, but
Mhm.
I I get FOMO a lot,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
I
listen, you're speaking to someone who is attention deficit of oh shiny.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I get envious of what other people are doing, and I don't
Mhm.
think I'm doing enough, and I can
Mhm.
really just go on this downward spiral, and I have to, turn off social media a lot to,
Yeah.
not be affected by that, but
Mhm.
and if somebody isn't buying my art one day and sales have gone down and then they're up again, it's just this roller coaster and I just
Yeah.
like, "Wait, hold up. Look at where you are."
Look at where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I often talk about I did a triathlon, and when I was swimming, I'm not a very strong swimmer, right during the and it was in a pool, it wasn't even the ocean, but, I got nervous watching as the more elite
Mhm.
swimmers went first. And
Yeah.
and I remember freaking out like, "Oh, I don't know, I can do this. I don't know, maybe I did the wrong thing." And my
Yeah.
friend said, "Honey, those are the Olympic swimmers. We're not there." And
I know.
it made me feel so much better. So then when I jumped in the water, I was going
Yeah.
about my business and doing well until I looked over to see where somebody else was, and it slowed me
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that we gotta remember that that's how life is. Stay in
Mhm.
your lane. Don't worry about the Olympic swimmers or,
I
don't look
know.
back to the people coming in behind you.
I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the challenge I think we all
It is, and it's a challenge to, I
Mhm.
don't know, stay happy and optimistic, which I love, nurturing a state of happiness. And however that looks, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. Um, did I read correctly that you have a studio in Long Island?
Yes, yeah. I'm
Do
headed out there in August.
Oh, so
It it's
fun.
it's really cute. Long
Okay.
Island has the connotation of being very elaborate with
Yeah.
the Hamptons and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and so it is on water,
Okay,
um,
okay.
and but it's been in the family
Mhm.
literally since the 1500s, and it was a part of this larger estate,
Mhm.
but this
Okay.
little cottage was built, gosh, it wasn't in the 1500s, it was later
Mhm.
on, I can't remember when,
Okay.
but it was built on the most beautiful part of the property as an artist studio for
Oh
one
my
of the
goodness.
daughters, and there's this little iron sign off the
Mhm.
side of the house that says, "The Studio." And over
Oh.
time, all the parts of the properties have been sold off and
Mhm.
everything, but this perfect little cottage has been
Oh.
in the family for these generations,
Mhm.
and so that's where I go.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Well, you're gonna have to keep us posted. I'm not far from
Oh,
Long
man.
Island.
Oh, really? So
I'm in
cool.
Connecticut. I used to live
Oh,
there,
yes.
so,
Yeah,
uh
sometimes they take the ferry over.
Oh, you do? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The ferry is a good way to go. I yeah, summertime is probably one of my favorite times because I love to explore, and a lot of times, maybe I am going to the Cape or Martha's Vineyard,
Mhm.
but I love to go to the galleries and to the
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because there are people who are incredibly talented that I may never come across, but
Mhm.
yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things to do. Um,
Mm. Absolutely.
so many things to ask. And looking back, has there been something that um, the biggest challenge that you face that has given you the best lesson as an artist, as an individual, as a
Yeah.
business owner?
Mm. When I opened my second gallery location in
Mhm,
Aspen, I spent a long time crunching numbers and doing all my research and risk analysis to make the decision on whether or
mhm,
not to open this space in Aspen and
mhm.
and run it from afar living
Right.
in Montana. And everything aligned, and my gut said yes to doing this. All the numbers worked, so I did it. And what I did not estimate or predict was the amount of stress that it
Mhm.
would cause
Yeah.
in managing the employees and
Mhm.
the sales cycle and the
Right.
finances of the whole
Yeah.
project. And I lost so many nights of sleep.
Mhm.
Developed rashes that covered
Wow.
my entire body and had to go to the
Oh.
doctor and I had to get on uh, like anxiety medications and things, all these things I've never
Mhm.
experienced
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after running it for a year, I realized the money's not worth the
The stress.
stress.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I closed it, but what I am so grateful for in the experience is
Mhm.
understanding more of my character and
Mhm.
what I am able to handle.
Yeah.
And also, having gone through that, my pain threshold went up a lot.
Yeah.
So now when I
Of course.
encounter difficulties in the business, they're not as hard as anything that I experienced before. And so it really taught me a lot of what, I find and
Yeah.
need to do to be fulfilled. And
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
one thing that I thought I wanted.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad I did it because I realized I don't really actually need that. So
No, I hear you. I think that sometimes we make a decision, we think it's a good idea.
Mhm.
We had a client and w- yeah, we knew from the beginning that, we could help. They were great, but yeah, it was just so much with not the right fit. And I spent a lot of time being so overwhelmed, like, oh, how can I please this person? And I'm not a people pleaser, but I was trying to make them happy. And then I thought it's not worth it to have a client that creates this much anxiety because I love what I do.
Exactly.
And if I actually just said this to somebody, yesterday. It's a TikTok influencer that I met in real life yesterday
Oh,
in my
cool.
event, and we started talk I mean, I was so excited to meet him that I don't know if you're in TikTok. His name is Bradley on a Budget, and
Oh, cool. I'll
he's
look
a
them up.
yeah, he's a minimalist, and
Neat.
he lives very minimal, and talking about always living in a budget. But anyhow, but he was saying how I guess one of the videos that went viral, he really struggles because he got some really negative comments, and he has over 1,000,000 followers. And I said,
Right.
"Bradley, we're never going to please everyone. We're never gonna
No,
be everybody's cup of tea." And I think that's
exactly.
what we have to work at, is knowing that it's okay if we're not somebody's cup of tea. But it's
Exactly.
hard, right? It's hard
Yeah.
to have that, "Oh, maybe they can like me."
I know, and, the same thing with, creating paintings.
Yeah.
I'll create a painting that I think is amazing, and I'll put out there, I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody's commenting on it, it's not selling, I'm like, "What the heck?"
Crickets, yeah.
And then I'll create something that I'm like, "Oh, this painting's not that great, but I'm so over it." And I just put it out and people are like, "Oh my god, it's amazing, I wanna
Yeah.
buy it." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Yeah.
this is
Art is in the eye of the beholder
I know.
forever.
It's so crazy.
Absolutely. Now tell me, who has been the most, or the strongest art influence on you? Or is there and is there a period of art that you love the most? I'm
Mm.
curious.
I do love the French impressionistic
Oh, me too.
artists, and that whole time period was so good, and
Yeah.
also love Caravaggio,
Oh,
seeing his
yep.
paintings in Italy and
Mhm.
with the his use of light, the
Of light. I was just gonna
chiaroscuro.
say the use of
It's
light. Oh,
beautiful.
yeah. Love that. Love that. Wow.
Me too.
So good. We have
Um,
actually an exhibit,
yeah.
they call it, ah, it's an immersive exhibit of Van Gogh and Monet going
Oh,
on here, and they, I guess,
wow.
project the paintings
Yeah.
and you're as if you're walking inside the painting. So I'm going
So
this weekend. I
cool.
can't wait. I'm so excited because I love the
Absolutely.
impressionists. That's my fave. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, yeah. If only I could paint like that.
I know,
That'd
right?
be
Me too.
amazing.
Me too. Like I said, stick figures all the way.
Yes.
Oh, James, how fun. We've had so much
Yeah,
fun getting to know
me
you, to learn
too.
more about
Thank
your
you.
art, and I'm a fan, and certainly you have a home here at Casa de Confidence. Anytime that you want to
Thank
come
you.
back, you have an open invitation. If someone is curious, if someone wants to check out your art, can they commission something? How do they
Oh, yeah.
get your art in, or where do they see it? Give me some more of the details.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I have the original paintings and do commissions often for people if they want something specific. But I also like to keep my art affordable and available to anyone. So I do limited edition prints of a
Nice.
lot of my pieces and
Mhm.
or note cards. Some people buy
Yeah,
the
fabulous.
cards and
Yeah.
frame them. Me too. And my website is jamescorwin.com, Corwin. And social media is James Corwin. Just type James
Yeah,
Corwin into Google and
that's right, and you come up right away. I went to find you on Facebook, and I did, so I'm gonna follow you on
wonderful.
Facebook,
Good.
and
Thank
yeah,
you.
so exciting. Well, we're gonna have all the information in the show notes, and I wanna encourage you, my friends, if you're listening, art is such a wonderful way to really immerse yourself in the beauty of what can be and is out there, and in a world that there's so much going on. Yeah, we need to find the beauty in the world, and artists like James are reminding us that wildlife must be appreciated and conserved. And go enjoy his paintings. I really love the work that he's doing. So thank you, James. And by the way, um, congratulations on the wedding in July.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, everybody, don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.